Hi everybody, Yoli Bear here. This is gonna be just a quick update of what I've been working on so far. Work has me going back into the office now, and so it's been sort of an adjustment for me, and I haven't really gotten used to it. So, editing the videos and all the time for that, making them, and having the time to edit them has been a challenge. And so, but I haven't stopped creating. So, and I feel bad because I haven't been able to show you anything, and I am running at full speed, and I need to just stop and just catch you guys up. So let me start by going a little bit backwards and start with my harpy eagle. So this is one of my favorite sketches. I think maybe it's because it was so close up, and uh, and I was happy actually focusing in on just a part of the bird. So I really liked this sketch. And then after this sketch, we did the red-tailed hawk. So that was another nice one for me. I really liked this one. But then I started to think about maybe a sketchbook because I've been sketching a lot in the sketchbook and I really like it. But I was kind of saying, the idea of a sketchbook, and could I make my own sketchbook? So I did. And this is me planning it out and stuff, like how I want it to be. Like, okay, what about goals for the day, planning your day out and so on. I would want to sketch in my sketchbook because it's a sketchbook. So, like, along with the planning of the day, how would that look with sketches and so on. And so let me pause here because this is where I think I put it in the video where I got totally excited about acrylic paints. So let me pause here and show you the sketchbook. Um, Let me pause here and show you the sketchbook. Let me click the thing that will show that to you. Here we go. Okay, so this took me a while to try and get it on Amazon, but it's here on Amazon, and it is in total, it is 128 pages, and it has 93 blank pages in it. And this basically tells you what it has. It has two calendars. It has a page where you can track your 31 days. It's 31 days, so it's a whole month of sketching, guys. A whole month. You're going to sketch every day for a whole month. So I hope you join this journey with me. And I've been trying. It's hard to keep that discipline, so I'm hoping that when they do put the look inside feature and stuff, I'll order one and we'll start using this sketchbook. Hopefully by then, hopefully by then, my sketchbook is finished and we can transition on to this one. Um, so when I say, so what's in this sketchbook? So let me show you what I've been working on. So this, how this book works is basically just elaborating on this summary here. And so let's go through it. So basically, you have the works page, which is day by day what we're going to be doing. So this is 31 days. And so you put in day one, and then you put the title of what you're doing here in day one, day two, day three, day four, day five, and so on until you reach the end of 30 days. I put a calendar in here. So this is the calendar, two calendars. So two calendars. I put the calendar in here. Just, a different way of tracking. I like a calendar, so I needed a calendar here just to, tick off my days. And I put 2 months here as a precaution, just in case you start in the middle of a month and it overlaps 1 month, or sometimes, I hate to say it, but sometimes I get lazy. Lazy, and I'll skip a day. So I mean, the calendar will keep you on track, so if you skip days you'll see it. And hopefully you go, okay, let's not skip any more days. So I found a calendar to be really good to put in here, just to keep yourself on track, right? Okay, so then let's get into the meat and potatoes of it. Day one, if you're using a word prompt to incite inspiration, here you can put your word prompt here, or you can put the title of what you're doing here if you have a title in mind. Good morning. So we'll put our 5 goals here. what are your 5 goals for the day? Write them down so we can know what we're doing for the day, know what our priorities are for the day. Hopefully it is something on your bucket list on what you want to do, something fun, something to look forward to, and you work on that daily. So we'll put our goals and our tasks here of things that we need to do, and this will keep us on track for life, because now that I am going into the office, and now our day is now split between work and home. Before it wasn't. And now with that split, we have to keep track of things a little bit, in a little bit more detail. So I'd like that in my sketchbook. I'd like that in my sketchbook, front and center, to take with me to places, so I can always have what task I'm going to be doing for the day, as well as sketch. you know so in the afternoon, I'll check in and I'll say, okay, how's it been going this afternoon? What have you got done? What is there left to do? How are you feeling? And, just put a sketch here, maybe an idea or two that popped in your head during the day. And at night, just kind of a little thumbnail sketch right here. Any ideas that pop into your head, just put a sketch here and write what your reflections are and what your insights are for the day, and that'll help guide you for the next day. Maybe you'll look back on this page and get excited about the next day and what the next day will have for you. But anyway, this is the whole entire day. But find some time during your day to do a freestyle sketch. So this would be the thing that you're working on, the thing that you really wanted to do. Whether you really wanted to draw a flower that day, you put it there. You put it there. Okay, so art demo. Art demo is, I am doing a lot of art courses. I am just loving all the art courses I'm doing. I'm also looking on YouTube and going through those sketch with me things. So this is where I'm gonna put this. Any little inspiration, any little course, any little thing, I'll put notes here. I'll draw here. I'll go through what your instructor or your YouTuber is doing. I'll put it here. And that's for the day. And then we will practice. We'll practice. If you're in an art course, if you were in an art course that day, we'll practice what we did at art courses. Some art courses give you homework to do, so you'll just put your practice here. And I thought that the practice sheet would be a very good way of practicing. But also, you have your freestyle sheet here, so your practice could inform your next day's freestyle. You know what I mean? So I thought that was good. So then we'll go on to the next day. Same thing. Good morning. Put in your goals. We'll check in for the afternoon, and then how was your whole entire day at night? So it repeats after this. You do your freestyle. Maybe you have an art demo for that day that you needed to go to an art course for, and then you do your practice, and then you check in for the night. So that's kind of what I have here, and I'm gonna try and use this when my sketchbook is finished. Hopefully the look inside feature will come up in a couple of days. I'm not sure, but we'll see. So that's kind of what I was working on. So that's kind of all of these what I've been working on here. You can't see it because I didn't switch it yet. So let me switch it. Pop that off. Here we go. Back here into the sketchbook. Okay, so I got totally excited about acrylic paints because I went into my dollar store and they had tubes, 24 acrylic paints. And go to the other video. I think it's a video prior to this, and you'll see me just being absolutely amazed at acrylics. And so here are all my paints, all 24 paints, and they're in tubes, and I've tried a few. So hold on a sec. Let me stick a pin. Let's go through what we did. I did my color test on 2 paints, and I put the gloss polymer over it just to keep it nice. And it's working. It's still really cool, and it's really bright, and I love it. We did a tree. We did some more color tests. We did spheres, and then I did over my spheres because I'm like, I can make better spheres. I can make better spheres. I did over my spheres and I did more color tests, and I was having a great time. And then we were doing grapes. With the spheres that we did, we were doing grapes. And then this is me planning some more because my brain is thinking sketchbook, sketchbook, sketchbook. I want a sketchbook. I want to make my own sketchbook. So that's there. That's that. And so moving on. But then, okay, here, this mass of craziness here. I walk into my dollar store because I needed a palette. You guys heard me. I didn't have anything to mix paints in, and that's kind of where I left off here. I wanted somewhere to mix paints. So I went on search for a palette. I went back in my dollar store and I saw this and I was like, geez, it's looking really big. So I said, let me see what else is here. Let me steal maybe a palette from another paint set. So I got this one from a little kitty's painting thing, which it gave you a page here, so you were supposed to paint the page with the paints here. But I was like, okay, great, this will give me a little palette to use, which is what I want, because when I'm making videos, you know I guess I could put that over here and paint here, but it's just so cumbersome. But anyway, we'll see. Anyway, so but while I was walking and looking for palettes, guess what I found? Hold on a sec. Another pack of paints. This one, Artist Series watercolor set. And I was like, oh wow, acrylics and watercolor. Oh, can I do both at the same time? Let me see which one I like better. So I bought this set, but you know, and so I said I'd try, which leads me to this page. I did watercolor tests on this page, just to test all of my paints. So that's the first thing I did, and then I was like, you know what? I don't know the first thing about watercolor. I've heard that watercolor is hard, and just because you have to mix the water with the color, and then put it on the page, and then you have different things. You have drying times. You have how much water do you put. I was totally confused. It wasn't just paint like acrylics. Just put paint on the page and you're fine. I'm sure there's more to acrylics, guys. I'm sorry if I'm just oversimplifying acrylics. I know there's more to it, but it was easier to start than this. It was easier to start than the watercolor, because the watercolor gave me a brain freeze when it's like, oh, there's so much to consider. You know what I mean? So I decided to take a course, and I found a course on Udemy with Nicola Blackmore, and she was like, yes, do your color test. But my color test ran, and I tried to compensate with the gloss, which ruined it more, because I thought that maybe by putting the gloss on it, it would save my painting, kind of like this, where it would just preserve it and make it shiny, but it didn't. It made the paint run all over the page, and I was like, no. Anyway, Nicola Blackmore. So basically, she was saying, play with your paints. So just make some shapes and put some color in it, and maybe overlap color. So deepen your color, overlap colors, and make your sphere and stuff like that. So I mean, painting with her, it was really really comforting to just have someone tell you, relax, it's not that serious. just play, it's fine. um so we did an apple. I did some more spheres. We went through again. This is a calendar, and it's a flower that I really want to paint. I tried a petal, it didn't work out, but that was later on. But anyway, Nicola did cherries now, so we were drawing cherries, and it was just focusing on the shadows. It was a good shadow light exercise as well. This was also a good shadow exercise, but this was also, and then she did a lemon, which I didn't do here. Um, because I kind of wanted to conserve my yellow paint, as sad as that sounds. Um, but then she said, okay, we're doing a fruit basket because we've done 3 fruits. But I did my fruit basket in pen, and then I realized watercolor is transparent. I know I've heard this, I've heard it, they've said it, but putting it down on paper, it's like, oh, geez, this pen mark isn't going away. So I'm no longer using pen. I love the progression of my mind here on these pages, I swear. Okay, so then I did another color test because I kept looking back on this and it was so horrible. I decided to do another one. Oh, paper. I went back to the dollar store because I'm always in that stupid dollar store. And I don't know how I missed it the last time. And in my course, everybody, like even Nicola, she was like, you have to do this on watercolor paper. You can't just do it on any paper because any paper doesn't hold the water. Any paper doesn't isn't gonna work for you. So the normal sketch pad paper is too light. It won't hold your water, and stuff. And I get it because I get it. I totally get it. But it didn't stop me. Not having watercolor paper didn't stop me. I just compensated for the fact that you can't wet the paper as much. You can't it won't operate like how your lecturer, your teacher is telling you it should operate, because you can't wet the paper as much. So you just have to compensate and just try. So it didn't stop me from trying, you know. And that's kind of just what I wanna say. But I went back to my dollar store, and I don't know how I missed it the first time, but there was actually watercolor paper there. So I bought it. It's $3, and the paints were also $2, I feel like. Yeah, the paints were $2. So here we're only spending $5. So we're talking about inexpensive materials and higher quality materials in class, and how they operate differently and the difference in quality. And I actually got to see, that's a great thing about watching other artists. I actually got to see how compare how this performs versus how their higher quality, more expensive, because with higher quality comes more expense, of course, things act. So I'm happy I got to see that. But we're gonna work with what we have until we can build up to that. Um, and so that's fine, but at least you know what you're building up to. Right? So and it also gave you the sensation that, you know what, if it's not looking the way you want, it's not always your fault. It's the quality of the materials you're using as well. Sorry about that, got a little interrupted there. What was I saying? I think I was saying quality of the materials. The artists that are in the courses, they're using premium materials, um, some brands like Winsor Newton and so on. And so what you're seeing is a product of their artistic ability, years and years and years of practice. Also, the quality of the materials that they're using, for example, their brushes and their paper. So don't judge yourself too harshly. Is kind of just what I'm saying, because maybe you're starting where I'm starting with just the minimums of materials. Your maybe things that you pick up at the dollar store. So don't judge yourself too harshly. Next exercise was postcards, and I quickly took one of the postcards that my mother-in-law gives us on Christmas time, and I've been keeping this one close to me on my desk, because I just love how this snowman looks. And so I've always wanted to try and paint him. So I got this opportunity to paint him when she said, "Let's do some postcards," and I'm like, "Yes, let's totally do it." So he's right here as my reference, and so I tried to draw or paint him here in the watercolor paint. So he's here. This painting came later, so I guess let me explain this now. While I was walking through, while I was walking through the dollar store, I don't know what I have caught in my throat, but while I was walking through the dollar store, I saw these little picture books for kids, coloring books for kids. It's a watercoloring book for kids, and it basically had pages of paint pigments like this here, lined up like this, and then a picture for them to paint on this side. And I was like, wow, what a interesting thing. Um, I would, so I tried it. I went home and I tried it. I I took some of the pigments here and really thickly, like really, really thickly, applied it to the paper, real thick, right? And I let it dry overnight. And then I drew a picture and I said, I wonder if I could just take from here, you know what I mean? And it worked. It legit absolutely worked. So now I have an idea, this idea of I don't have to bring a whole entire book with me everywhere. I can just put some paints on a paper, draw something that I'd like to work on, and just work on it during the day, just like that. Cool. So that opened my mind to a whole lot of stuff. Anyway, that was just me walking through the dollar store. Let's get back to the course, the course that I was doing. So we did postcards, and I think that's where Nicola ended. Yeah, that's where Nicola ended, and I was like, oh my god, I love this so much. Let's there was one more thing. Let's do some more courses. So I signed up for another Udemy course with Heidi Willis and absolutely loved it. But one more thing Nicola said was, okay, you know how we found out here that watercolor is transparent. She's like, well, test how transparent your watercolor is. So this is pencil marks here. So pencil, 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 all the way up, and divide your page into the various colors. So I labeled my colors 1 to 18 because so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, because my dollar store colors didn't come with actual what the colors were. So from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Here they are here. um and then put color all the way over to here, and then see how transparent the color is. Now I've found out that these Artist Series paints, they are opaque. They're not very transparent, especially when applied very thickly, so that you adjust your artwork accordingly. So, I mean, it covers here the red. Over this side, it shows through, but over this side, you can hardly see the pencil marks. Hello? Camera. I tried. It doesn't want. It doesn't want to. Okay. Moving on. So Heidi Willis. Heidi Willis his course. Heidi Willis's course took everything that I learned from Nicola. So we went through everything there and up the techniques a little bit. So in Nicola, with Nicola's course, we were practicing just maybe darkening the colors a little bit and applying that technique to your watercolor paintings, and then doing postcards with what we learned. So that was fun. And we ended there, and that was great. And she taught you how to test your paints to see what you got, and that was amazing. Now Heidi took it a step further and said, okay, we're gonna do some color tests, but I'm going to show you another way of darkening your pigments in along with lightening it up with water. So here, where you just add water to the pigment and you lighten it up, I'm going to show you how to darken using color families. She call them color families. So like for example, if you're doing a blue and you're doing the blue family, you could darken and lighten your colors with your blues. So for example, here's a lighter blue, here's a darker blue, and then going even into black if you wanted to. So that's kind of what we're doing here. And so if we were talking about the red family, we could use the reds that you have. So you could lighten with this one, and then go to this one, that one, and then to stretch it even further, you could go to purple as your darkest red. Um, if it works for you when you test it, right? The yellows worked very well. So like if you wanted a to darken a yellow, you could do yellow, orange, just visually, you could do yellow, orange, brown sort of thing. So does it work in this line here, And even greens, I loved how the greens turned out where you do yellow, green, darker green, so yellow, green, darker green, and then even into a blue. So kind of like that. So just a different way. And she also hinted on um, Heidi and I think Nicola. Nicola hinted on using complementary colors to darken, but um, either I couldn't absorb it yet, or we haven't gotten into it yet. So I think I'll figure that one out a little bit later. So Heidi also took it a step further. When you're sketching, she taught us about the importance of sketching first, and I'm getting your sketches to be a representation of kind of what you want to draw, so that you already know where your lights and darks were. So she told you how to get your sketches transferred onto your watercolor paper, but so that you don't destroy your watercolor paper, because you can't sketch directly on your watercolor paper. It kind of destroys the surface of your paper. So she says one of the techniques was you draw your sketch. So this is just a drawing to get the idea of it. You draw your sketch, and then you use a 4B pencil. So you have softer pencils and harder pencils. So you use a 4B here. So this is going from hard to soft. So you use your 4B pencil here, and just sketch on the back of it, and then you wipe the excess off, so it won't smudge on your paper. So you wipe the excess off with tissue, which you'll already have, because she taught us to always have your tissue on hand, which I do here. I have, and she told us the differences in tissue too. It was an amazing course. So always have your tissue on hand, and this is supposed to absorb anything, but also you use your tissue dry, of course, and take away some of the graphite, and then so that when you apply it to your paper, it doesn't put graphite all over your paper, and it's not just a mess. And then you would use either a mechanical pencil or a harder pencil, such as a 4H pencil, to go over your drawing, right? And that would leave this is actually watercolor paper. It would leave a thin mark. Can you see that on your watercolor paper? So that was cool. So I actually tested that, and that actually worked very, very, very well. So that was great. And we were doing wet on wet, and to do wet on wet, we tested a dry, a wet on dry. So, and how the differences of that looks and feels, and so on, and how the paint operates with both things. So it was just a practice. And what happens when you leave it to dry for 5 minutes versus 3 minutes versus immediately working on it. What does that do? So she taught us about timing and stuff, so that's great. And so practice, 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 practice. So in practicing, I said, okay, let me practice everything that we just did. Let me pick another it's another calendar. This is another calendar reference. See the calendar bits here. So teaching us how to see colors. So this is just a two-tone sort of piece, so it's easy. So I picked that easy type one. And so basically we have the reds here, an orange here, a yellow here. So that was going to be kind of your main colors that you can see. And then there's a blue here. So the color family that we're using is going to be the red color family. And this is the color family test I did for myself. So we're going yellow, orange, red into browns. So I kind of went that way, and with the to darken that way. But with the blue, I said I would lighten just the regular way with water. So that's kind of what I did there. And then which red? Because like I had two options of red here. I could use this one or this one. And so it was either this one or this one. So this one is the darker one and this one is this one. So I chose this red, you know, and I was going to do use I think I used this one to get into the darker brown. So that's kind of where I went with this. And then for and you notice some of it is on my watercolor paper and some of it is directly on my sketchbook. So I've been kind of working like that, you know what I mean? And so the complementary color, the sky, I think the sky was this one here, and I put it there. So, and then after I finished, you know, doing the color test, it was time to do the actual drawing. So I picked one leaf instead of doing everything. So I just picked one leaf to start, and I tried to do that. So just practicing what we learned so far, and how to apply it. And this is what I ended up with. But then we did some more color work, and it was good color practice to go from dark to light. And so we practiced on this painting here. So some of it is just even color. So this would be an even color. And then we worked from this is a wet on wet two colors. So there's that. And then what was this now? This one was even wash two colors. So even with one color, which was the let me show you on this, which was this red, and then the next color would be this pink, just so that I could see the differences. And this one especially, this one is one color going from dark to light to dark. So dark, light, dark. So just practice like that. So that was really good. And then she showed us some more techniques. So this was lifting off the paper. I liked this one very much. So lifting your color off and what that would do with your leaf. Heidi also did that, where we were doing, if you remember, the color test, where she says try and lift the color off the paper as much as possible. And this is how it would go when you can't lift any more color anymore. But then we learned here it's a matter of timing too. So the easier how easy it is to lift the color off the paper is how dry is the paper now, how long have you waited, and so on. And so you have to play with the timings on that. So we learned a lot about that. Man, it's been great. And then adding color while lifting and stuff like that. That was really good. So, and then I tried the whole dollar store thing again. Again one more time with a color palette that would do a branch and a bud. Where's the other one that I did here? So this leaf, and then I did another one exactly like it. And I really like this because, you know, it you don't have the whole palette in front of you. You just have specific colors, and you work within that range. I kind of forced myself to do that. And then there's this one, another calendar piece. I really enjoyed doing this one because this one was a very bright piece, and I basically used this. It's finished now. This yellow and the orange, they're done. They're finished on this piece. But I really enjoyed this, and I really liked how this turned out. So that was pretty cool. And I think that's it with Heidi. We did some line work. So let me show you the line work. So we did some line work with the brushes just to get you used to actually drawing with the brushes with the line work. So that was good. And this made me want more and more. And you notice we haven't gone back to the acrylics yet. I feel so bad. But anyway, so this left me wanting more. So then I signed up for a class with Gonzalo Car Carcamo. Gonzalo Gonzalo Carcamo. He's from Brazil, and it was a course that was translated into English. So I loved that. Um, it was a little bit different, but I think the translator did very well at putting his feelings into his words and what was going on in the on the paper. So that was great. So where he started was we did we did all of the things that we did before, which was good because this was cementing the ideas into your head. So that was great. So we did the color test here, but he went further from dark, light, light. He said, okay, now do light to dark. So start with a small amount of pigment first and then build all the way up to dark here. I did it, but I didn't include the piece of paper that I did it with. I tossed it. But that was another thing. The second thing, the third assignment was do dark, light, dark. Kind of sort of like this, dark, light, dark, and build up there. So that was kind of just exercise. So it was an exercise moment. So I did my exercise and I tossed my exercise, but maybe I should have kept it for the video. But anyway, so he did monochrome. He's like, before I talk to you about color, before we even do color, we're just gonna focus on one thing to get the concept of this right. So we did one color. He did brown, I did black, because my black has not been used very much, and all of the other colorful colors are going away. Even the brown I've used quite a bit, but I haven't used black, so I decided to use black on this assignment. So the the thing was the subject was a house with stairs coming down to a sandy beach, and because I'm new at art and new at all of that, his looked perfect. Oh my gosh. And that was just inspiration on where you can get to. But I drew this along with him, or painted this along with him, and I think it turned out really well. I mean, I could have now that it has dried, I see some areas where I could improve. So we're just gonna improve a little bit. Like I could lighten up this a bit to blend it a little bit more. These pieces, but that's great. Then he's like, oh my gosh, let's talk about color. And we did talk about color, but we also said, these are very bright paints. Let's mute them. Let's tone them down. Let's make them a little quieter. So he taught us that in doing a muted color exercise. And so how to get these bright colors toned down, and he kind of showed us how, using other colors, how to tone them down and stuff. So that was really nice. um and how to just build up your color as you go, even with the toned down color, how to build those up. So you start really really light and then you go darker. So that was great. Um here and this is what I was talking about, the art demo. Like when you're sitting down and watching somebody work, you have notes, right? So you can write notes in the sketchbook and stuff like that. So this was a combination of drawing and words, more words than drawing, because I was trying to zone in and pay attention. So basically what this page is all about, it's a few, I think this was a YouTube exploration. So I found Olivia, I can't pronounce her name. Olivia Bradia Chisano. So let me just bring that up for you, because I totally butchered her name just now. So there she is, Olivia, and so you can search for her on YouTube. And so she was telling you about geometric form. She has a couple of videos where she goes through um, her her sort of way, but she's also promoting her course. But I haven't done her course. It's a little expensive, so I'm not ready for that type of expense yet. But I took her YouTube videos and I learned from them. And so basically she was going through how to do your geometric shapes. So she was talking about geometric shapes. Where is my sphere? Where on earth? And how to break that down. You know what? Let's use this sphere and how to break that down, because this acrylic sphere is perfect. I haven't gotten it perfect with the watercolor yet. But basically, she was saying geometric form, where the light is coming from. You have the lighter areas, and then you have the normal color, and then you have the darker areas where the light doesn't catch, and then you have the shadow that the form casts, and then you have bounced light because of the shadows. So like the bounce light here does this little highlight here, and this highlight is never as bright as this area here. So she was just kind of just breaking down that into one of the tutorials that is including in her course, and just to hear that again was really nice. So I made some notes there, and oh, here she was saying use complementary, here it is right here, use complementary colors to darken and shadow. So there's this piece here that I wanted to elaborate on, but haven't gotten to play with that as yet. um Oh, she was talking about this Bistra thing, which is this red, blue, and yellow, um, to darken colors as well. Where is it? Where is it? It's somewhere. Oh, here. We haven't gotten there yet. So, okay, next page. But there was, one more YouTuber that I was watching, Angela Lobo. She is a botanical artist as well. So is Lizzie Harper. And they were just going through materials. They were going through different types of paper, hot press versus hot press, and what botanical artists use. So I got the impression that they don't use the type of paper that I'm using with the textures on it. They use a more smoother paper, and they like that for their art. So I'm going to see if I can find some at an art store and kind of compare what I'm using to that one. So yeah, so then she gave me a different way of Angela gave me a different way of doing the color test. So I think I gave you a hint on that on the other side. Um, then what else is here? Right, the different paper, smooth paper versus the one with the texture, which is the one I'm using. So knowing what the different, like I said before, knowing what your different papers do was papers and materials do was really good. Okay, so then we did a color exercise as well here about color bias. I think this was with Olivia, where she was like orange making purple, but varying the types of reds and varying the types of blues make different types of purples, sort of thing. So let's get into the next one where we're doing some color work. So all of the artists said, focus on your color work, practice your color work, because this is what you'll apply to your paintings. So color is important because that's what we're working with, color. So just going from dark to light, but then in these squares, and then I took what Nicola was saying with the uh, what do you call it? The markings, how opaque it is, and I put little markings there just as a hint of how transparent the paints are. So I did that, and I did it both on my sketchbook and on my paper, because I still want to draw in my sketchbook. I still want to paint in my sketchbook, even if it's just to get an idea of the colors or an idea of things before I put it on the watercolor paper. So I'm kind of, how do you guys do it? How do you artists do it? How do you artists um, test and paint? And when you finished doing something on the watercolor paper, how do you save it? Do what I do? Because I just instinctively pasted it into a sketchbook. Do you paste it into a sketchbook, or do you have some other way of tracking the things that you've done? Let me know, because I'm still new at this, and I've been struggling with how to do that. Because like if you look at my sketchbook now, like look at this. This is the watercolor piece, and already my sketchbook cannot close, and I still have this much paper to get through. You know what I mean? So the book's gonna be out here by the time we're done. So anyway, how do you keep track of the things that you've done? do you paste it in a sketchbook, or is there another genius way of doing this that I just haven't seen yet? you know. Um, so anyway, where I was just talking about the purples and the color work on the purples, and basically the variations of reds and blues that can make purple and so on. So when we were talking about purple, we said okay, red and blue make purple. So that was simple. Um, but what if you had a orangish red? You know, what if you had a greenish blue? What if you had a purplish red? And what if you had a purple blue, purplish blue? Well, when I did that exercise with the different ones, it came out the same. But, but, so there's no difference between this one, which is a greenish blue and a purplish red, and an orange red and a blue and a purplish blue when I did it on mine. okay. But when I don't remember which artist it was now, I think I don't want to guess. I don't want to guess, but I don't know which artist it was. But when she did it, it was four really different types of purples. So I was just like, I don't know, what did I do wrong? But I'll try this again and I'll see, because I saw what it was supposed to come out to, and I saw what I came out to, and there's a great difference there. So I'm gonna try it again. But there's a difference. I noticed a difference between the purple that was made with just the regular purple and the regular blue, and I noticed a difference between the purples that were mixed with the other type of purples here. So there's a big difference. And I even tried to add more purplish blue to this purple and see what happened. There's a little difference here and here, so I got that. And then I said, so my purples here, I compared it to my purples here, which this is the 18 and this is the 1. So kind of just doing the color work. This was an interesting exercise, and I really liked doing that. And then this was just practice, a practice page, and I think this is where I am right now. This is where I am. Oh, one other thing. So I added some more paints to my paint family. So I think that was here, and I told you to ignore it, and I'd come back to it later. Here we are. So this color test was done with these paints. So literally yesterday, was it yesterday? No, Sunday. So the day before yesterday. Today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. So Sunday, I was with family in Brampton, and before going home, me and my mom went to the mall, and we went shopping. I haven't gone shopping in the longest time, so that was an amazing thing to do with your mom. Just go shopping, and we went shopping in Shoppers World, which is a big mall in Brampton. Not as big as Bramley, but big enough. Has a number of stores in it. So I went to. After doing all of the shopping we went to Fabricland, we went to Winners, we went to perused all the stores and stuff just to see what was there. And I went into Staples and I said, hey, let me see what paint Staples had. And so they had not a very, I mean, it's stationery, right? So it's a little bit of everything. So they had this brand as paints. Let me just zoom in here. Stradler or something like that. Stradler. Someone tell me how to pronounce this. I don't know. I'm very bad at pronunciations. But this one. So I did a color test with this, and the colors that come on the back here is zinc white. So it's this one: yellow, orange, red, magenta, violet, ultramarine blue, turquoise, deep green, light green, yellow ochre, burnt sienna. Oh, I'm doing that badly. Sorry. Turquoise, deep green, light green, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and black. So that's what came in there, and I decided to do a color test. So this is yellow. This is the red, which was kind of weird because it does come out quite orange. This is the orange. This is the magenta. This is the violet. This is the ultramarine blue. This is the turquoise. This is the, what is it, deep green. This is the light green. This is the yellow ochre. And this is the burnt sienna. And this is the black. And, you know, where they said it was called bistro, I think it was Olivia who said to mix yellow, red, and green, yellow, red, and blue, and to the point where you get this black sort of shade. And this is how you darken your colors with this. And it's a lot different from using the black. And she mentioned one of the reasons is because this one is more, there's something to do with reflected light, and it's different, the difference there. But we need to get more into that, because I'm not sure how to explain that, or even how, it's not clear in my head yet, I should say. So that's that. But I not only bought the powdered one, get this, I also bought the tubes. I also bought the tubes because during the classes they're like, you have two. You have the powders and you have the tubes. And they're both the same pigment, only this already has the water added to it. And most artists, I feel, that I've watched use the tubes because it's easier to work with. They had a long list of reasons why they use the tubes, so I thought I'd experiment with tubes versus powders for myself. So this brand was relatively affordable. It was affordable, so it was $10. So this one was $10. This one was $10, and this one was $10. So I spent a total of $20 here that day. And then the color test was only with the powdered one. So, but already I'm seeing a difference. Already there's a difference. I don't know if it's just me. If it's just me or there actually is, but I'm liking how this one turned out. I'm seeing a difference in transparency already. Like my pencil marks are actually showing in this one, and the camera is not cooperating with me today, but that's okay. But I'm seeing the pencil marks better in this one than I am seeing them over here on the Artist Series one. So I don't know. We'll see. This one's almost done, so I'm gonna work with this until it's finished. And I also have another pack here. Like you saw, there's this one that's open and this one that's not opened yet. So I'm gonna work through these paints first before I touch the other ones. So wish me luck. Wish me luck. All right. So yeah, and the watercolor paper, I bought 2 packs. This pack is almost done. So I only have a few more left here. Oh my gosh, I only have 3 more left here. 4 pages left here, and then I have one more book to go through. And then we'll get, I think maybe tomorrow, I go into the office tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll go to the art store and I will I'll look for some more watercolor paper because I'm gonna need that soon. So more on that later, and keep practicing, and get better, because that's what I'll be doing. I'll be practicing every day to try and get better. All right, so just wanted to share that with you. I'm going to pause the video on one of my favorite pieces, which is this. So keep practicing, and I'll update you again, and maybe we can go through some exercises. I just wanted to show you where I was so that we could maybe share together some more, and I'll try and carve out some time in my day to actually do some videos so we can do some one-on-one painting together. So see you guys later. Bye.